Welcome to another episode of Relationship Essentials. Um, I'm excited to talk about. We have a cool topic to talk about today. But ultimately, the platform is all about teaching people how to steward their relationship in a way that honors Jesus and brings glory to God, right? Because we believe that doing relationship outside of God's parameters and God's plan is ultimately going to lead to failure. It might not lead to failure immediately, like we always talk about. God doesn't punish the beginning of a thing. He often punishes the end of a thing. That's why he says there's a way that seems right to man, but the end is destruction. And the Bible actually says men are quick to sin because the consequences of sin is delayed. So when you're doing things outside of God's plan, it might look like it's working, but it's not really working. It's like the Bible talks about two people that built a house, one built on rock, one built on sand. They both looked good. The only problem is when the wind came, when the storm came, the one that was built on a solid foundation stood the test. And a lot of relationships are not standing the test of time because they're not building on godly principles. And our goal is not just to tell you godly principles, where our goal is to tell you how to take those principles and make them practical. How you can actually use it on your day-to-day dating life, your sex life, your marriage life, sex life for people that are married, your marriage life, and legacy. Anyways, today's topic is red flag and green flag. All right. So obviously, this is one of our connect episodes where we have audience, and they will come up at some point to either talk about a red flag of theirs that I might or might not agree with, or a green flag. And our goal is one: if you see a red flag, is I always say this. I feel like sometimes relationships are it's like driving. When you're driving, there are laws that are put in place, not because the laws want to restrict you, but because they are designed to protect you. Now, if you decide that you don't want to follow laws, you are most likely going to hurt yourself and hurt other people. That is relationship. God put laws in place to protect us so that we don't hurt ourselves or we don't hurt other people. And then when you're driving, you have certain signs that you have to pay attention to if you're going to drive safely. Those signs, again, is information that allows you to make great decisions so you can reach your destiny safely. And in relationships, there are signs that we often see that tell us, all right, this is danger, or hey, this is a, like when you're driving, you say, do not enter. There is a, hey, do not enter there, or maybe you need to yield more, or whatever. So I feel like there are signs. But when it comes to red flags and green flags, I've heard people talk about red flags and green flags. And a lot of times, I feel like people misunderstand red flags and green flags. So a red flag doesn't mean the person is no good. It just means there's something that needs to be worked on. Just like driving. When you're driving and you pull up to a red light, does it mean you should park your car and sit there? No, it means stop because there could be danger ahead. It at some point that light can turn green and you can go. I believe that not every red flag stays red. There are some red flags that could be green. As a matter of fact, we all have red flags, and somebody's gonna marry us, or hopefully, right? Like we all have red flags, and I think it's a question like we talked about in the previous episode, dealing with our partner's flaws. Is it that they have a flaw that is the problem because you have a flaw and you expect them to accommodate your flaws? Or is it the willingness to work on it or whatever it is? So because we all have red flags, there's some red flags that you're like, all right, for me, red flag just means, all right, you need to stop and make sure you deal with this before you keep moving forward. And then if you deal with it most of the time, it can yield, it can turn, red flags can turn to green, or you know, or it could stay red, and it means you should probably move on to somebody else. Especially for us that are dating, and even for marriage, they are still your partner when you get married can still do some things that are red flags. And just because it's a red flag doesn't mean I think acknowledging red flags sharpens and equips us to deal with difficult conversations. And I think one of the areas that Christians or people are struggling in the most when it comes to dating is having hard conversations. People shy away from hard, uncomfortable conversations. But the truth is, the better you get at having hard, uncomfortable conversations, the better you would get at building a healthy, long-lasting relationship. So let's talk about red flags. All right, so red flag. I'm not sure if anybody have. I don't know if somebody has. Again, if you in the audience and you have a red flag that you want to talk about, you could bring it up. Anybody want to come up first? Anybody have a red flag? Red flag? Nobody has no red flag? You got one? All right, so come up. All right. Let's see if I agree if it's a red flag. Come on, clap it up for Juliet. Juliet,
Right.
Nana, Sewa, Amon.
The whole government, y'all. Okay, so my red flag is stingy men. Doesn't mean you have to be rich. Even if you are brokish, do not be stingy. I don't like stingy. This 2x4 living is not my portion. And even rich men could be stingy too, right? So it's not even about like the money. It's just the
Okay,
fact of
I
just
like
being
that.
stingy. Because to me, it's like, I may not have it either, but I'll try my best to just, do something here or there. Even if it's not going to a fancy restaurant, just being thoughtful. Like, you know what?
Go to Thai restaurant.
Even Shake Shack, you can make that cute. Like,
14.95.
I can't. Like, even if your budget really is Shake Shack, you can still make that fun and be like, yo, you know what? Get any milkshake you want. Like, something like, I don't know. Like, to me, it's just the thoughtfulness behind it as opposed to like, oh, why do you want to go to Shake Shack? You know how much Shake Shack costs? I know how much Shake Shack. I want to go to Shake Shack, or I want to go to this expensive restaurant. I think even if you don't have it, you can always be like, you know what? When I get it, I'm gonna take like, just something that to me is like, okay, you don't have to have it now, but when you're stingy, like, that's a red flag.
I agree with that. Now, by the way, if somebody says a red flag and you don't agree,
Yeah.
if they're up here and they say a red flag and you don't agree, then just raise the opposite, and I can have you come up and
Rebuttal.
rebut it.
Yeah.
But I agree with what he said because I was listening to Pastor Kinsley, right, and he was talking about obviously when he met his wife, he didn't have a lot, and he says being romantic is doing the regular things, the mundane things in a special way.
Yeah.
So it's not that you have to have crazy amount of money for you to be romantic. So a lot of men think, oh, I need to have X, Y, Z money for me to live, treat my woman the way I want to treat her. So I think he gave an example of his his wife now was complaining about a cell phone. He couldn't really buy her the cell phone
Right.
that she really wanted, but her cell phone was so messed up that he basically had, I forgot the way he tells the story, but he basically have her roommate take a phone and take it to the repair shop, fix it and wrap it and bring it back to her.
Yeah.
Right?
See that?
So it's like it's not always in how much you spend, it's in the thoughtfulness
I agree. Yep.
that matters. And also for women that also want a man, still like I like that you said that stinginess is not a function of income. It's a function of your mindset.
Yeah.
Someone that has money can still be stingy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think also we men need to get out of this mindset that money defines their manhood, right? Because I think that is a toxic mindset to have,
Very.
and that is often why most men are intimidated by women that makes a lot of money. And even you often hear women say, even women that make a lot of money still want the small one that you have. It's not because it. But it's not because they don't want to share.
Right.
Is that there is something about you will give me or you will sacrifice for me or whatever it is. But anyways, I agree. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
And I would say even women. Let's not just say men. Women that are stingy is also a red flag.
That's true.
So my red flag. Hold on, since we're here, hold on. My red flag is I feel like at least by the third date, you should have at least offered to pay. I'm not saying pay.
True. That's true.
After the third date, you should have at least say, hey, like, you got it. Like to just expect the man every time you come and eat. When the bill come, you're looking in your wallet. You're going to the bathroom.
I'm not gonna.
I'm not saying
yeah.
pay.
I agree with you.
I
actually agree with you.
I'm saying
on
at
that.
least offer.
I agree because
Offer.
Yeah, I think what. To be fair,
You disagree?
Okay. Agree. Yeah. I agree with what you're saying though, because I do think, to be fair, ladies, right? Like, I think that even that mindset, like I'm the prize. No, you both are the prize. Like, I just feel like sometimes for girls,
Say that again.
You both are the prize.
Okay,
I know you might disagree with me, but I feel like some girls feel like, oh, I'm Princess Diana. You can also offer to pay too. Like, I don't think like I personally feel like on the
Oh, if you
third date,
disagree, don't
no,
worry.
you
We're
can
gonna bring
disagree
you
too.
up. Let's
I
let's
just
one
feel
house.
like it's okay to like offer, like also like you know what, he's also coming out of his way too, spending his same money that he worked hard for. Just like I just think it's considerate to offer. Like you shouldn't just assume that he should just be your ATM. Like no, like
Yeah,
offer to
yeah.
pay. Like, but I
All
think
right, so we
that's
have
just
somebody that
me. That's
disagrees.
just
All
me.
right, all right. Let's
That's
go.
just
Damn you,
me.
come up.
Come
Tell
on,
us.
girl. Come on, girl. Give me
Let's
your
clap it up for
rebuttal.
Dammy. Let's see. Why you even getting upset? Like, it's even upsetting you.
Because it is upsetting me. Period.
All right, so I said, so this is what you disagree with. I said
Yes.
it's a red flag when a woman never offers.
You said by the third date.
Yeah, by the third date.
I feel like my disagreement is mostly with the like timestamp of when she should have to pay. I
Okay.
feel like personally, I'm gonna let a man pay. My friends too. I feel like that. You know, it's a man's role. It gives them ego to pay. So
Oh, yeah, don't worry, we don't have ego.
I like to, help them with their ego and let them pay. I think that stinginess, like I really agreed with what you're saying because stinginess is not a function of like, oh, he's always paying for stuff and so he's generous. Stinginess is like it's kind of like a way of life. You're not stingy with your time, you're not stingy with your resources or your network maybe. And so it's like I can give to you and not be a stingy woman in other ways, but maybe by the third date I'm not ready to offer to pay. And in terms
But where do you
touching
think
my
that?
bag, I won't even touch my bag. I'm not gonna pretend.
No problem.
I have no intention of paying. I promise.
But let me ask you a question though, right? So in dating, right? Don't you think that mindset makes you come up as the prize?
I could see that, but I also think it's about respecting people's time. If you ask me to come out if you ask me 3 good times, I'll come 3 good times. But you ask me if I plan something, like all jokes aside, I think that if as a woman I plan like, oh, I would like to go and do this and I plan it, I would offer to pay because I planned it. I asked you to take time out of your day to come and hang out with me. But it's not that case. You asked me to come and hang out with you, whether it's the third time or it's the 10th time. You asked me for my time.
All right, I hear you, right? But I'm not even saying the woman should pay. I'm saying the offer. Because this is my reasoning, right? I think when you're dating, and I'm guessing everybody should be dating with the intention of marriage, right? Everybody's dating with the intention of marriage.
Yeah.
So when you're dating with the intention of marriage, that means it's basically like a glorified audition. You're collecting data to make a decision on me if I will make a great husband, and I'm collecting data on you to make a decision if you will make a great wife. Don't you think it's a sense of entitlement to show up and just expect him to pay when you are also eating?
No.
No, you don't think it's entitlement. So this is it, right? So for me, it's not like it's a question of like.
I think that not to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I think that first of all, third date to me feels a little early to offer to pay. I feel like if we have gotten to a place where now we're talking exclusively and this is something we're genuinely working on, then yeah, sure, I'll offer to pay because now we're working on something. It's a partnership. But in the beginning, no, I'm not paying, and I don't like. It's not like I'm the prize. Like,
but that's what it's giving up though. It's giving up entitlement and it's giving up. Now, mind you, I'm of the mindset that I think the man should lead, and when leadership he should pay. I actually think the man should pay. But my thing is, I think the whole mindset. Because I've heard women say, "Oh, like a man that asked me to split the bill, I'm not going on a second date with him." Blah blah blah, all that stuff, right?
On a first date,
right? Okay, I'm not talking about that, right?
Yeah.
But I want us to think about it, right? It's not like we often say that the gender roles have changed, right? Gender role has changed in the sense that the women nowadays work, right? And for me, it's like it also shows that you value me. Because is that you also have genuine interest in me. For me, I don't care about them offering to pay or not. Is that when you offer, I think it sends more green messages than red messages. Then if every time the bill comes, you're looking down on your phone, or just just say hey, like hey, do you want to split it? Because you're taking responsibility for yourself.
I'm telling you.
If it says yes, then
it's like
then you
okay, but then is it not this? Like, why would I offer if I don't actually want to pay? Like,
and
Why
that
would I? That's fake.
and
No.
that's why
Because if it like when it really like if we actually start to work on something, then yes, I will offer to pay because now we're
you know
working on
what?
something.
I'll probably change it. Maybe not the third date. I'll
The
say
third date is excessive.
Maybe I'll not say maybe not the third date, but you know what? I won't say the third date, but I think
Running it
a woman
back.
that never offers to pay, I just gotta figure out at what point
I think
she gotta offer. Maybe not the third date,
I think
but
that-
I
I
think
think-
for me, the earlier again for me, I think most men will agree. I don't know if men agree. I'm not saying she pays. The earlier she's willing to take responsibility, I'm willing. Is more attractive to me. I'm not saying you pay. I'll just say we that way we don't spend too much time here. The earlier a woman offers, the more she get cooler points. All right.
I
You have a
think-
red flag. All right, we have a
Yeah.
red flag. All right, let me hear.
Hey guys.
What? Yeah, please.
Trying to kill me up here.
Let's move this out a little bit. Yeah.
All right, good night, guys. So my comment is not necessarily to rebuttal what she was saying.
So you have a red flag.
It's a red flag still
Okay.
for what you say,
Okay.
but like you kind of revamped it. Not necessarily the third date.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't necessarily offer to pay for like the bill. Eventually, I am gonna offer to like cover the tip or something like that. But there are other ways in which I not lead, show up and show appreciation. For example, I pay attention to who I'm dating. By the third date, I'm probably coming to that dinner with a gift.
Me, I haven't received gifts. I've been dating. I have not received gifts.
Cause it's like, no, it's not, no.
Hold on, no, guys.
No.
One house. Everybody's agreeing. I'm seeing green flags. Okay. So give me an example of a gift you've brought to someone on it. Hold on, one house. If you disagree, raise your flag. Give me an example of a gift you've brought to a date.
So this guy I dated, he loved like these
Pay attention, guys.
he loved these very exotic teas or tea blends and things like that.
Yeah.
It's not ridiculously expensive, but it's a bit up there. So I got like a pack. It's like in a golden case, a nice tea blend with like what do you use those fancy tea dipping things or whatever. So I just packaged that really nicely for him and brought it as a gift. And he was surprised, which I've realized a lot of men are surprised because they don't get gifts.
Yeah, I haven't received any on the
So-
date.
So
Oh,
what
that'd
I'm
be
just trying to
nice.
say is that I don't necessarily show up and show appreciation with my purse strings in that
See,
way.
I like that. See, but I like that.
But-
See, we can
but
do with
I'm
this.
going,
See?
but,
Oh,
but I'm going to listen.
I hope the ladies took note on that
Oh
one.
my goodness. I am going to listen and pay attention to understand you, figure out the things that you like, something you probably didn't even like really think that I thought about,
Yeah.
and I'll bring it or I'll get it for you, or that's how I would show appreciation for someone I'm dating, not necessarily
Yeah.
paying for the date.
I want to say something while you're up here, right? My other red flag, right? My other red flag is a woman that doesn't initiate, right? And and this is why I said it because it's good that you brought it up, right? This I believe, right? The woman that I'm looking for is looking for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
The woman that I'm looking for is also looking for me. So when I show up and start dating a woman and I'm doing all the work, it comes up as if there is no reciprocity or there's no interest or there's no strong interest. And it's little things that's like, hey, I would like to see you again. That is initiating the next time we see. Like it's not about, oh, hey, I made a reservation for it. It's little things like, hey. Like it's as little as, hey, I want to see you again. Or like you said, like a gift, or let's say, hey, I was cooking and I thought about you, I made you a plate.
I know a lot of women may not agree.
You know?
But that part.
But my point is they're just like taking that step before like I feel like sometimes women are always waiting for the men to take the step before they take a step. If he's already interested and you are interested, what I don't see any problem with you initiating some things that can make you guys get to know. It's like I remember I was dating a girl, and she said, "Oh, I'm going to this concert. Would you like to come?" That is her initiating,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But that is her initiating. A lot of women be like, "Oh, I don't want to ask him out." No, but that is you initiating. You could do it in a smart way. See, she did it in a like, she made it look like she was gonna go without me, whether with me or without me. But it's like the fact that all right, you are making efforts for us to build. All right, so since we don't have, I'm not sure anybody has any, but I'll talk about another. I'll say a green flag. A green flag. A green flag for me is someone that treats like a lot of things like treating the wait the waitress or the waiter or the doorman with respect. You know, like for me, with the way you treat people that have no consequence in your life matters more to me. Because I feel like anybody could treat people nice if they know what they're gonna get out of that person. But how you treat someone that there is no real or tangible thing that you are necessarily gaining from them speaks volume. So for me, the way if I see a woman treating, that's what, like I think sometimes a lot of things like if I'm dating a woman, I want to know where she goes to church, where she serves, because I want to see that. I want to see who do you serve that doesn't have a direct consequence to your own benefit. Right? Like I tell people all the time, it's hard to marry a woman that doesn't serve. It's like it's like your life is very self-centered. It's not the best flags to give. You have a green flag? All right, come up. Guys, let's tell the ladies their red flags tonight. Come on.
A green flag that I thought of.
You gotta get closer to the mic.
Oh, a green flag for me that I thought of was vulnerability. So if a guy can be vulnerable, I think that's a big green flag for me. Like,
At what point does he become
I
vulnerable?
don't know. I don't really have like
Because if he
a
doesn't know you, why would he be telling you his
yeah,
problems?
yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And like, I don't think like right away you need to be like telling me everything. But I think over the course of time, like if he can open up about things, like even like the flaws, right? Like if you can tell me like, you know what, I'm actually struggling with it, I actually will appreciate that way more. And I'm like, okay, at least now you're telling me I could work with that, as opposed to you just like,
Second date, he tells you I'm struggling with porn.
oh, child, you need to.
He's
I mean, I'm a listen. No, I'm gonna listen. I'm just doing that now. Inside, I'll be like, oh,
no,
child.
come on, see.
No,
So she just
no,
said,
no.
hold
Wait,
on, she just said,
Come on,
I
that's
like
a
you to be
natural.
vulnerable.
No,
I don't know.
that's a natural. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, that's okay. Like I'm inside. I'm gonna be like, what? But let's see how we can work together. Like I can help you, you know. But I'm saying, like, I think that if he's doing it too quickly, then I'm like, what's wrong with this boy? He needs therapy.
So I guess at what point is okay. I guess this is a question that I have. Does showing vulnerability too quick, is that a red flag?
Yes, big time red flag. That means you talk too much. Exactly. That okra mouth, I don't like that. Like if
Okay,
you talk
so
too much, like
okay, all right. So when is a healthy when do you consider it healthy for him to be vulnerable?
I just feel like yeah, like to what you're like, it has to just naturally happen. Like I wouldn't say like oh after the third day, the fourth day, like just us talking and communicating. Maybe I'm telling him something. He's like, oh yeah, actually, you know, when I was a child, like just naturally, organically. I think on the first date, to me, it just seems like there's something like. I don't know, like, yeah, you're doing it too quickly, right? Even when a guy tells you, oh, I like you. How you like me already? I'm crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that to me gives a little desperate as opposed to just naturally, organically building something with someone. That's a red flag. Like, that's like somebody mean you. I want to be your best friend. Why you want to be my best friend? You don't even know me like that. Like, it has to naturally progress to me for it to feel natural. You know what I mean?
Okay. For me, I guess I love the vulnerability. I think we need to encourage men to be more vulnerable
Yeah.
or to be more expressive. But me personally, there's certain vulnerability that a woman would never get unless I think she would be my wife.
And I agree to that too, right? So I don't think you should say everything, right? Like I don't think
Yeah.
there's certain things you need to keep for your spouse. But I think that if I'm not knowing any of your flaws and nothing, it's like we all walking on
So,
eggshells.
so
like
is it him being okay showing his flaws
yeah.
that you want? Because
Yeah.
I feel like for me, when I meet a woman, I honestly don't care until I until I know I feel like I'm confident that we could build something.
Mhm.
Vulnerability is like I'm myself regardless, but they like letting you into some of the things that nobody else knows or my deepest struggles. I'm not doing that until I feel like there's a direction and definition for what we're doing.
No, and I agree to that. That's why I said I think it needs to organically happen, right? So I
Yeah.
think like for me, it's just a green flag if you're open to that, right? Like,
Yeah. But I think part of what could be a translation of what you're saying is a man that it's not that doesn't express his emotions.
that, right? Okay.
Because I think that's something that men struggle with. And I
Mhm.
find it that men always say, you often men, the people that tell men not to show emotions don't talk to men that show anger. And then anger is emotions.
That's actually good.
So it's like we tell men don't show emotion, but they're very great at showing anger.
Mm.
So I do think that could be a red flag where a man doesn't know how to express himself, doesn't know how to articulate how he's feeling, or always feel the need that he has to be strong. And I think even people that are married, they are married men that think my wife will never see me cry,
Yeah.
or my wife don't need to know I'm struggling with this. You know, there are a lot of men that are struggling with porn that are married that their wives don't know they're struggling
That's
with
true.
porn
Yeah.
because they want to maintain this image of themselves in their wife's mind, and they don't know that in great relationships, vulnerability is strength.
And yeah, I'll say that last piece and then I'm done. I think to me, what it will show me, right? And again, it doesn't have to be early on, but like if I'm dating someone, I think that because in marriage, you're going to be vulnerable, right? Like there are going to be times where like we have to just, right? We have to work on things that it may not be pretty all the time. So if you're not comfortable, if I don't feel like I'm comfortable with you doing that, like I just feel like it's going to be really hard when you now just have to like be married to someone and like everything is on the table for the most part, you know? So
Thank you.
yeah.
You had a red flag, Josh?
Come on,
All right,
Mayor.
come bring it up. Let's go. Come on, guys. Let's clap them up. I'm loving this. I'm loving this episode so far. Let's go. What is the red flag?
All right. This one is on behalf of me and my brother in the stand. But a red flag that I have is someone who is too boisterous in public. You know, if that's it, maybe that's.
What do you mean? We don't understand English, please.
So
Break it
someone
down. What is boisterous?
who's mad ratchet, like you know, like you're over there, you're screaming. You know, you don't know how to. You're not carrying yourself well.
Yeah.
And it's
Doesn't
another
carry herself with class.
with class. Yeah, it could be your like who you are, your personality, but there's certain environments in which you know you act based on how the environment
Yeah.
needs you to act. And then when we're alone, you know, you can be yourself. You can do what you want to do, but in a specific setting, to know how to carry
Know how
yourself,
to read the room.
to read the room.
I think,
exactly.
like to your point, right? I think that falls under emotional intelligence,
Mhm.
right? I see a lot of people use that word a lot. Oh, emotional intelligence, but I want to explain it that way people understand because it has a lot to do with everything you just said. So, emotional intelligence is literally built on 4 pillars. One is self-awareness. Second is self-preservation. Third is um, relationship management. Man, I'm forgetting the fourth one. All right, let's deal with the first one. The last one just skipped me. But emotion, like you just said, self-awareness, like understanding who you are, then self-preservation. I said relationship management, right?
Yeah.
So the third one is social equity,
Mm.
right? Social equity, knowing how to interact with your social environment. Like you said, if you come to, it's like I had a friend that told me that she wouldn't date a man that doesn't know how to use a fucking knife, right? Right? Like she's
Why
like, I
don't
get
you know how to
invited to a
use
lot
it?
of galas and dinner with important people. I don't want him to come and
That's-
embarrass me. I think it's a little too much.
Like bad table manners,
right? Like, but it's
That's
like
important.
place, time, and place.
Yeah.
that
Your
I
elbows
agree
on
with
the
that.
table, you're eating the chicken with your hands, ripping it apart. It's very embarrassing. I
The
understand
only
that.
time you're allowed to not have social equity is when you're a billionaire.
Mhm.
Do whatever you want.
Mhm. Mhm.
If you don't manage,
You manage
Yeah.
yourself well, properly.
but
for
yeah,
sure.
no. To your point though,
Mhm.
honestly, I do think that is an area where people could be better as
Mhm.
far as knowing time and place. Especially when I also think it's like the type of man that women often say the one, the powerful man, the alpha male,
Mhm.
is like time and place or timing and tone becomes like big
For
because
sure.
it's yeah. Let me just leave it right
For sure. Can I give you one more?
Yeah,
Since it's
yeah.
only like two men here, I'm just gonna give one more.
there.
Just
Are
one
you
more.
saying he's a boy?
So, hey, all right.
I'm just
But Sean is my guy. Not too much on Sean. Sean is that dude. Respect to
and we have
Sean, you
one more
heard?
person in the house. Yeah,
Nah,
come on.
yeah.
I'm just
Nah,
messing with you. Go
yeah.
ahead, go
So
ahead.
one more, and
Is
this
it a red flag or a green flag?
this one's I mean it's a, let's say, a red flag.
A red flag.
So that's the perspective I'll take. This one might be a hot take. So I'll preface it with, as a man, I know that I am the leader. I am the leader. You should be the leader. If you are a leader, then you should be the leader. I think a red flag is a woman who doesn't know how to lead in her own capacity.
Is it submit? The woman that doesn't have to submit?
No, because you can be a leader and still know how to submit to another leader.
Mm-hmm.
But something that I find very attractive is a woman who, outside of your dynamic, still knows how to lead elsewhere. And then because you're secure in your ability to lead, and she's secure in your ability to lead, when she comes to you, she understands that I'm following here, I'm submitting here. But outside of this dynamic, I think a red flag is a woman who doesn't know how to lead.
Okay.
You're just a follower to everything.
All right, I like
Although
that.
women should, there should be, we understand that scripturally there's a hierarchy in the
In
home.
the family.
I think that it's a very attractive thing when a woman knows how to lead outside of, the relationship.
I love that. I love that. Green flags all the way. All right. All right, we have a green flag over here. All right, let's bring it up. Come up, Sean. Oh, you agree with what you said? Okay.
Salute, Sean.
All right, so one of the red flags that you mentioned, right?
Mhm.
Let's say someone that lacks emotional intelligence, right? How can they get better? Because I think, like I remember we said, red flags doesn't always mean the person is no good. It means this person need work in this area. Because sometimes we might write off somebody that could easily work on it. Because I feel like that is an area, like if they really put their minds to it,
Mhm.
they can succeed in that area.
100%.
So if you met someone that has that red flag that doesn't have emotional intelligence, would you write them off as a potential partner, or is that something that you think can be worked through?
You said two things that were very powerful in the beginning of the podcast. One was everyone has red flags. Not every red flag stays red. They have the potential to turn green. That's
Yeah.
one. And secondly, hard and uncomfortable conversations are necessary and important.
Yeah.
So, in that context, it's important to have those necessary conversations, at least give an opportunity. I think a lot of times
I like
you're seeing someone, you date someone, 1, 2, 3 dates. They may do something, maybe they chew a little bit too loud.
that.
They show you the red flag once and you're ready to cut them off
Yeah.
without giving the person an opportunity to grow.
Or even have that conversation with
Or
them.
even have the conversation and allow that person to change. You'll find that maybe you'll go and find someone who's everything you need them to be, but you won't uncover their red flags until later, and they lack the potential to change. The person that you got rid of in the beginning,
Mhm.
they could have had a much easier potential to change, but you dashed them. So it's important to have those conversations to see what someone's potential is for change and for growth. So that's
All right.
that's all. I
Thank you. All right. That was good. I have a red flag that I want to talk about. Um, I think it's a red flag when someone ends a relationship so that they could be chased. All right, so I often see this with women that have daddy issues or that have abandonment issues. So it's like one of the ways they feel validated that you want them is for them to run so you could chase. So it's like, so I think that is a big red flag where if someone has to, if you feel validated about someone's interest in you by running away or ending, it's like you don't want it to end, but you want to end it so that they will see if they will come back and try to make things work. That is toxic. That is very, very immature. All right, let's keep it coming. Right. All right. All right, Mimi, come up. Let's clap her up. Again, I want us to talk about these flags and these green flags because I'm telling you, there are people that will watch the episodes or there are people that are probably listening in or that are here tonight that probably have some of these red flags that could start thinking about how can I work on it? How can I change it? That is not good, right? Or people that hear the green flags and say, wow, people love that. I need to do more of that. So let's help. Sometimes it's not just about us, it's about who else can grow or benefit from this. Hi, Mimi. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so I wanted to kind of respond to what he said about the boisterous women.
Yes.
So I think a red flag is when you start to date someone knowing who they are and then you want them to be different. So some men will date women that
That's a
are
good
more
point.
boisterous or very like loud. I have like one of my best friends. She's just one of those people that she's very happy, she's loud. She's not ratchet, but then she'll have men that date her that love that personality, but once they get into a relationship with her, they want her to like calm down or and I think that's a red flag because you knew who she was before you started dating her. Or men who date women who are considered loose women and then you want her to calm down for you, but you knew who she was before you started dating her. And so
So basically, you're saying investigate before you invest.
it's not investigate, you knew. You met them like that and then you want them to turn into someone else.
So you basically saying the red flag is meeting somebody and then trying to change them. When
Yeah.
you get in a relationship.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, that's it.
Uh-huh,
Okay,
that's
that's
it.
good. No, that was good. That was good. All right, let's keep the red flags and green flags coming. Let's keep the red flags and green flags coming. I really like that because I do think, obviously, there's always room for people to grow, always. But you have to, and and this is where I always say commitments. Like those of you that have been listening to Relationship Essentials, I've been saying that it's our responsibility to steward our commitments. Like I can meet someone and get to know them, but I don't have to commit to them. And I think a lot of times, like people, and I think probably um my probably one of my red flag will probably be someone that wants to commit without gathering all the information first, without getting to know the person. It's like, why are we committing to something that you're not even sure if you can handle, if you have the capacity to handle it? And I think just being honest with ourselves, like she said, if you know this person, let's say I know one example that men often complain about is they meet a woman that dressed promiscuous. And then when they start dating her, they want her to cover up. It's like, it's what attracted you. Now you want it to, you know? So I think being honest with ourselves is very, very important. Let's talk about this. I want to see those flags come up. Try to think of, I had one green flag that I wanted to add, but it just skipped my mind. Anybody else have red flags, green flags? You have a red flag? All right, let's bring it up. Come on, guys. Let's.
No, that's so bad. No, I know. Where's all my green flags? Oh, I said vulnerable. I did say vulnerable. That was a green flag.
Don't feel bad.
A red flag is hygiene. Child. On both sides. Both sides.
Yeah, I think I told the story one time about a friend that he said the girl's wig was smelling.
Oh! Just throw the whole date away, girl. Just throw the whole date away. Like your whole life. That is bad. Like I know people have bodily functions. Not everybody's gonna be a good day. You sweat. But if it's a consistent BB and BO, like I have such a problem with that. Like, and I do think that
do you tell the person?
You know what? And that's actually happened one time. I was dating a guy, his breath. I was like, Jesus Lord. And I was like, babe, do you want some gum? He's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, and I was like, oh. And so I was trying to bring up something. I said, I have a dentist appointment. And you know what the dentist told me? She was like, you got to floss. You got to try this new toothpaste. So let me know if you want me to pick you up. So he's like, nah, I'm good with my Colgate. I'm like, it's not working. Like in my head, I'm like, so I don't know. Actually, that's a good point. Because honestly, I just really don't know if I have the grace to tell someone.
We did say hard and
I don't know how to
and-
do
and
that.
comes
That's
up with-
that's a
I
problem.
feel like if this person meets some other qualities,
I don't know how to tell. Like, I feel embarrassed for them. Like, I don't know how to tell somebody, like, yo, you smell. Like, I don't even know how that would go about. So maybe
so
I
does,
need.
Does anybody have a good, effective way to tell someone
Yeah.
that doesn't practice good hygiene? Or is that
I don't
person just,
know.
is that a flag that stays red?
It could go to green though, but it's just like I don't know how to get to green. I don't know how to do. Like, I just feel like that would
Alright,
offend you.
If you have a way,
Please teach me,
let's come up and say that way people also can also learn.
Sean.
Because
teach
right
us.
now it looks like if we don't have a way to tell them effectively, like for me, I just tell them. I just tell them, like, sis.
Is this?
Well, I haven't had that experience, but my personality, I will tell you. But that's why I don't. It might not be the nicest thing, but I'll be like,
Yeah. How can we fix that?
I'll be like, is it just today or is?
Wait, Sean
is
got
this
something.
like a
Okay,
regular
let's
thing?
get into a green flag.
Yeah, how can we get? If not, and I think I'm gonna start doing that. If we can't get, if we don't have an effective way to make it rain, we have to say you don't date that person. But I do think hygiene is. It could become a green. But I think it's like for me, I'll just tell you here, like, let's say it's like your, like for me, like, okay, let's say for example, her hair stinks.
You said that already.
I'll be like, how often do you do your hair?
Oh man.
I'm serious. How often do you do your hair? She'll probably be like, whatever she says, let's say she says, I feel like I want to role play with someone. But let's Wendy, let me give Wendy like all right, so this is dating. We're not in a relationship, right?
Of course.
If we're in a relationship, that one is easy. Because, like, how did we get here? But let's say we're dating. Let's say I gave you a hug
Okay.
more than once or twice.
Okay.
and-
So are we at dinner right now?
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
cool.
we're not at dinner. It
Oh.
could be any time. It could be tired. But I'll be like, hey, I noticed you really like love the hairstyle. Like, how long have you had that hair? How long have you had the style for?
Oh, just like 3 months.
3 months.
What is that a problem?
You don't think? Do you think it's? I mean, I read somewhere. I mean, I don't. It's not my place
Mm.
to tell a woman how to take
So
care of her hair.
then don't.
I just no. I'm just saying. Do you respect my opinion?
Okay, sure. Let me hear you out.
So I read somewhere that if especially let's say she's wearing wig, if you have wig longer than 2 weeks without like wear, I'm not sure if it's true. Maybe you tell me. I'm always learning. I read somewhere that if you have wig on. You could correct me if I'm wrong because I'm always learning.
Mm-hmm.
But I read somewhere that if you have wig longer than 2 weeks or a month, it starts smelling. Is that true?
I usually take it out. I mean, but I can wash it like 3 months once in a while. I've
Oh,
never
good.
had an
When was the
issue.
last time you washed this one?
I have to check because my conditioner has been out for some time.
Hey. Yeah, let's see.
Please.
Your conditioner. Well, I got you. Tomorrow,
Okay.
I'm gonna pick you up. I have someone that will take care of you.
Oh my God, really? Okay, totally.
All right.
All right,
Boom.
cool.
Well, that's all. Yeah, I feel like it always have to come from a constructive place. For me, I like when they acknowledge it. Like I will keep asking questions until they ask me like, "Do you think my wig is smelling?" I'm like, maybe it is. I say, "Let me smell. Let me see. All right, sure. Come on. All right, let's think about red flag. We want to finish them in the next 10 minutes.
I had a real life example this week.
Hey, smiling week.
No, something similar, I
Hey,
guess.
what was it?
All right, so Lord help me. So I have a small group, and there was this one woman. She wanted to go out and stuff. I thought she was interesting, so I just went on the date. It was nice, and at this particular date, she said, "Hey, how come you never like pursued me or had like interest or like asked me out and stuff like that before?" And I told her, "Well, we were just friends, right? But now that we're here, there were some things she wanted to bring up, like, hey, you're so stoic. You don't make it easy for me to know if you're actually interested." And I said, that's the respect. We barely even know each other. Now that we're getting to know each other, we can have this conversation. So she asked me this one question: what are some things, if I had this fixed, you would have asked me out, like, without hesitation? She's gonna see this video.
Jesus help me.
No, we're just friends. I'm a single man, but for that, now that gave room for me to address.
I feel like for me, that's like alley hoop. If you ask
Yeah.
me,
Then I have to
I'm-
say it.
I'm
You know what I'm
dunking.
saying? Yeah. I can't dunk, but yeah. 5'7" is blessed. I told her one of the things in particular. So she's on the heavier side. In her opinion,
That's
right?
another red flag that I have.
That's because she's been working on ever since she started like being in the small group. I told her, like, there's a verse, I believe it's in 1 Corinthians. God's like, you got to take care of your body. If you take care of your body, then you're honoring me, right? So with that, I said, hey, one of the main things you got in here for was to obey God, not just spiritually but physically.
Mhm.
And if you're not doing that, you're not giving God something that's going to be able to be used for the purpose and mission He has for you. If you die, if you have to go take care of your health, you can't take care of the nations, let alone your own nation, New York. So besides that, and then her having a humility thing, because she was like so high minded. She's like, she's winning souls, she's helping people, but then it's like, there's a little bit of pride. That's something my pastor, you were good friends with him, he spoke to her about as well. So with that opportunity to say, hey, this is the issue, like, not even from my perspective, because again, she asked like what it is generally. Okay, yes, to an extent mine, but it's also something like we can see,
Mhm.
in a sense. And I say that very gracefully and with all the respect in the world, because I don't want anyone to internalize, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's so many things we can all fix. But in that specific situation that happened on Tuesday, I was like, all right, you ask me. I
Yeah.
have full right to say whatever it is, especially because you're asking why I haven't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that was that one opportunity. And I felt like that was a green flag, asking the person you're, talking to, whatever the case may be, what is it that you think I could work on? You know what I'm saying? And be willing to hear it
Yeah.
and have grace accepting
Yeah.
it.
That was good. That was good. I'm gonna add that. I'm not sure if you have a green red flag. You can come up. I'm gonna add this, that when we deal with people, especially let's say when someone has red flag, right? One house. When someone has red flags, the easiest way for it to not stay red is also how we approach them about their red flag, right? I think also, like I always say, like when you look at like John writes this letter to the church in Asia, the 7 letters, we know it as the book of Revelation. And as he's writing the letter, he's basically talking to them like Jesus is talking to them. And when you look at the letter, first, Jesus comments before he corrects, right? It's like that's something that we all can get better, like something that I'm always working hard to be better at. Whereas, like, even when I see something wrong, not just jumping to the fault, but also commending you for the areas that you've done well, right? Or telling the person that they are of worth, that whatever it is that you're about to tell them, like something like this, I'm talking to someone, I'll probably say something like, I respect you a lot, and this, what I'm going to tell you, has nothing to do with how I see you. It's just an area I think you could be better. Like just affirming them, even while we are trying to redirect them, is very, very important, because that can make the person more receptive to your information, or more like defensive to it. So just adding it there, because we're all gonna deal with red flags. But even when we get married, the person might not necessarily always say things or do things the way you want it, but making sure you are affirming. I think in the first episode that I did today, it was "Are you the problem?" Right? I talked about when people leave relationship with you, are they like a broken house or are they like a pillar? Do people often feel broken when they're done with you, or do you empower people? And that often tells us how we dealt with them. Did we empower them, or did we just make them have lower self-esteem? If you have a boundary that has no consequence, it's just a suggestion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So part of also when you have boundaries, you also want to make sure that there are consequences for when people breach your boundary. Not like you are so harsh, but if someone repeatedly does something, they should lose access,
Mhm.
right? But yeah, that is absolutely a red flag.
Yeah. Well, I guess I could have a green one because you said
Okay.
boundaries. So someone who is okay having those crucial conversations and they reinforce boundaries.
Nice.
So like it lets me know you still want relationship with me. You're not
Yeah.
afraid to bring things up. You're not afraid to stand
Yeah.
up for yourself. That's a
That's a green flag.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Okay, we have a red flag. We have a red flag. While she's coming, I'm gonna say a red flag that I already said in the previous episode. A woman that doesn't apologize or someone that never owns their mistake. That's a big red flag. Big red flag. Like I think we need to normalize saying, "Hey, it's my fault. I take." For me, I love hearing. I take. I love hearing. I take 100% ownership for what happened. I love hearing it.
Okay.
We have a red flag. What is your red flag?
So now you guys judge. So I don't know if this is like a real red flag or just like an insecurity. I'm gonna be honest, right?
Okay.
But
Get
so
closer
a
to the
man-
mic.
So a man that is too friendly with the opposite sex. It's like it can be a gray area, right? Because we want our our husbands, even the men that we're dating, we want them to be nice, to be
All right, one
kind.
house. I know we have a lot to say. One
You
house, one
know,
house.
we want them to be nice and kind, but then I think that in Christian men particularly, I feel like you guys, can be a little too friendly and then do it in the name of, walking in love and
All right, all right.
ministry.
All right, just I
Know
want
what I'm talking about.
I want to defend my brothers.
Okay.
Right? Define too friendly. That way we can make sure we're all on the same page. Because I think it goes both sides. Because some women are too friendly too.
Okay.
So let's
So
define too friendly.
it can even, just be in a form of, the conversation just being a little too long. Maybe, after church or during an event or whatever, knowing you're like dating me and then you're just having conversations with, Christian sisters. I think just like I said, conversations being way too long or not having boundaries.
What if he's dating
just
that
like-
sister too?
Oh, okay. So what stage of dating?
No.
Okay, so what's that? Oh no. Okay.
Because hold on. We did say
So
a man
what-
that is not in a committed relationship with you is allowed to get to know other women.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
what if
this
he's
is at
getting to
that
know you
stage?
and
Oh.
getting to know the other person?
Well, that wouldn't be a red flag at that point. I'm more so.
But you
talking
wouldn't know
about-
that. Because do you you wouldn't know if he's getting to know that sister.
Okay.
Because do you expect the man that you're getting to know to tell you everybody he's getting to know?
No. So I think at the stage I'm referring to that I even start caring about is because we are now probably in like a courtship or committed, or are these red flags not for that
No, it
stage?
could be dating. No. You could talk about
Okay.
it could be any stage.
Okay.
So for you, because dating, I don't think in the dating stage, I think you got to stay with your expectations in the
Yeah.
dating stage. Because he doesn't owe you anything. He didn't make
Yeah.
any commitment to you.
Mhm.
He's technically free. Now, you could say out of courtesy or out of respect, he could be more mindful. But that's up to him.
Yeah.
It's not up to you. But if you guys are in an exclusive committed relationship and he's not mindful on how his interaction with other women makes you feel, then yes, I agree with it being a red flag. But if it's not a committed relationship, I think it's it's just a preference thing,
Yeah.
you know.
But could it even okay, even in a committed relationship, could it just be an insecurity of mine?
So this is what I think. I believe I'm a firm believer that people should fight for their relationship, right? And if you are in a relationship, which is you are leading to marriage, if something makes you feel uncomfortable, you guys, he owes you the opportunity to talk about it. That's the least he owes you. And I think whether it's an insecurity or not, there's no way to tell. Every situation is different. The person that can tell is the person that is in it. And I think this is where self-awareness comes in, right? If you get jealous every time he says hi to a woman, then maybe it's insecurity. But if you felt some type of way because he was outside talking to her for 30 minutes, and when you walked outside you saw her, you saw them hugging or you saw them laughing, or like if you had a reason for your concern, then it's open to being addressed. Maybe it could be misunderstanding, or maybe it's something that he needs to work on. But I feel like there's no one way to tell, oh, that's an insecurity, because it changes from situation to situation. But I feel like in committed relationships, I talked about it earlier on. However, whatever someone feels should never be invalidated. It should always be dealt with empathetic conversation about, hey, I want to see where you're coming from to see how I can show up better. Because now, if this person is trying to marry you, they have to learn how to take how you feel and what makes you uncomfortable into consideration.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
All right, okay. All right, we have a red flag. All right, let's take a few more. Then we gotta. What's the time? All right, we. All right, we have two more. Let's take two more. We have. Come on, Sean. You have a red flag.
Oh. All right, so I just wanted to address two things. Oh, I wanted to address two things. I wanted to address my sister over here about the personal touch. I think it's important to realize that some people's love language is personal touch. And it's not, I think it's the manner in which they go about it. So, like, if it's like sexual and you say stop and they don't stop, then okay, it's crossing boundaries. But I think I have friends like that who their love language literally is like to touch. So, like, the way that they show how they feel is by like they might put their hand on you or give you a hug, or they might sit close to you. And I'm somebody who sometimes it can make me a little uncomfortable if I don't really know you, but understanding that that can be someone's love language is important. But also asking yourself why that touch is like why it makes you uncomfortable, because it can be something a little more deeply rooted, and just addressing it, because when you're married and your husband might be someone who wants personal touch or who enjoys PDA. I have someone that I know personally who they enjoy PDA and then their partner doesn't. So it makes it really difficult, because that individual is like, man, I just want you to cuddle with me and I want you to hold me, and the other individual is like, I don't want to. This makes me uncomfortable. So, if you're gonna have like a deep relationship or a deeper relationship or a marriage, it's important to understand like the root behind it. And then the other thing was Juliet's point about the oral hygiene. I actually had my ex who had his breath wasn't the best. But I'm a dental professional, and I understand that not everyone is educated in oral hygiene. Not everyone's educated in hygiene altogether. I will say, as a woman, I had to learn how to smell good, how to take care of myself, how to clean myself properly, because I'm like, one day I am gonna be married, and not everybody comes to that realization that, like, okay, I have to learn how to, you know what I'm saying? How to make sure my wig smells right, how to make sure I smell right, you know what I'm saying? Because you just never know when you're married and things of that nature. And the way that I addressed it, I was thinking about it as I was sitting down, was I commended, like Pastor Sam said, I critiqued, and then I helped. And I think when you gave the example of the girl with the wig, and you was like, okay, I know somebody that I can connect you with, that was kind of you helping. And so what I did with this individual was
no judgments. I know we're in the house of God, but at the time, I'm not gonna lie. We made out, and so I had to tell him. I was like, look, I don't want to be tight-lipped every time I'm coming close to you. And I was just like, but before I said that, I was just like, I told him all of the positive things, and how I appreciated the way he invested in our relationship and all of these great things about him. And then that's when I went into like, but this makes me a little uncomfortable because of X, Y, and Z. And I also went into, but that's okay because we can fix it. I understand why this is happening. And I was just like, you just need a dental cleaning. And so I had him come to my dental clinic, and I cleaned his teeth. And then after cleaning his teeth, I just gave him a whole bunch of oral hygiene products to help him because he just didn't know. And we can't fault somebody for not knowing. We can't fault somebody for no one ever telling them in a constructive way that, look, your hygiene isn't the best. So that was my little 2 cents.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll take one more. One more. I know because it's obviously relationship essentials and we're all godly people. We probably haven't said it, but someone that is not willing to commit to no sex before marriage is a red flag, right? And I think we should probably do, probably next month, we should do an episode. How intimate should Christians get while dating? Right? I do think that's the topic that would probably help clarify a lot of things for people, because in the walk to purity is not just about sex. It's the other things, other factors too. So, but yeah, if someone is not willing now, I also think which is why I think great friendship is key, right? If they haven't been practicing it before you met them, that is a red flag. And if they're not willing to practice it with you, that is a red flag. If they're only gonna do it for you, that is a red flag, right? So I know because we all godly people, we don't want to bring up scriptures and all that stuff. Someone that doesn't worship, go to church, doesn't believe in Jesus, all of that stuff, yeah. Someone that does not want to obey Jesus in any area of their lives is a red flag, right? So I just want to establish that before that way. When we close out, we at some point must have said it. So when people are listening, they are aware that it's building the firm foundation is Christ. Anything outside of that is a do not enter, not even a red flag. Is a do not enter. All right, we have one more and then we're done. We have somebody raise their hand, right? Okay. So, anyways, thank you guys for listening. It's been great. I feel like we addressed a lot of red flag. There was one that I wanted to address, which actually I should address it before we leave. People often talk about consistency and communication, right? It's like, and I've heard women say like, "Oh, he texts me and then he stopped texting me." Is that a red flag? Blah blah blah, and whatnot. Now, I do think if this person has made a commitment to you, that's something you guys can talk about. But if someone hasn't made a commitment to you, you always believe their actions over their words. So I do think red flag is again, is it really a red flag if they are not interested? You guys understand what I'm saying? If someone is taking 24 hours to reply your messages, taking 7 business days to get back to call you back, if they're doing all that, is that a red flag or is that person just telling you that they're not interested? So I do think sometimes when it comes to the whole consistency and communication, oh, he wasn't being consistent. He will take me out today and I won't hear from him for a month. It's not interest. So I do think I want to kind of address. I do think it's a red flag if someone is interested in you and they're not putting in the effort. But I do think on taking it beyond the whole red flag or green flag thing is you respecting yourself and saying someone that is interested will not do this, right? And then again, if you really want to address it as a red flag, if you call them out on their action, right? Let's say for example, someone you you feel like their actions tell you that they are interested, but they're inconsistent in their approach. And you tell them, hey, I'm a little confused. Are you interested or you're not interested? And they say, I'm interested. And then you tell them, hey, if you're interested, the way you've been going about it, that's now how I've come to learn or understand that that's maybe I don't know. I'm still learning. Maybe you can help me understand. No, but maybe you can help me understand. Is that how you think you should pursue a woman that you want to marry? If they say yes, that's how I think I should pursue a woman, then that is up to you to decide if that's how you want to be pursued. If they say no, I think I could do better, and then they don't do better, then you eliminate yourself. But I think again, anything with red flags is not always about, oh, just like we said, traffic lights. Not just about run for the hills. It's have a conversation, see their openness to growth, see their willingness to change, and actually see the fruits. Because a lot of times people have see red flags, and the person tell them they will work on it. The person do no work, and they still go ahead and make a commitment to the person. I say, oh, but I talked about it. No, it's not just about talking about the red flags. It's did they take real steps and real actions to turn that flag from red to yellow to green? If they didn't take real actions, then you should probably believe the inaction over their words, right? But I don't want us to just be writing off people because they have some hiccups or they had this bump in the road or they have some flaws. You know, something we've talked about a lot tonight. But thank you guys for listening. Those of you that are looking, watching online, we hope you were blessed, and we hope you actually take this information and address red flags. Don't just ignore them. They just don't go away by themselves. Red flags don't just disappear by accident. It would take hard, uncomfortable conversations with the person you're dating, with the person you're married to, for you guys to build the type of relationship that you both want to build. I always remember this quote by Les Brown. He always says, "If you learn to do the hard things, life becomes easier. If you learn to do the easy things, life becomes hard." Thank you guys for listening. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram. Support us in as many ways as you can. Make sure you attend all the many events coming up. The Women Empowerment is May 25th. And our big conference is August 17th. And I trust that as you continue to tune in and continue to take the information you hear and not just let it be just another information session, you actually begin to ask yourself, how can I do better? Or what are my red flags? How can I turn them to green flags? Or am I great at having uncomfortable conversations? Have I normalized having hard conversations in my relationships? And part of the best ways to start doing that is in your regular friendships. If you learn to have hard, uncomfortable conversations with your own friends, the person that you're marrying is also going to be your friend, right? Because you shouldn't marry someone that you don't like. So let's normalize these conversations. Thank you guys. We're gonna have our prayer session is gonna start like in a few minutes, but we're gonna give you guys like 15 minutes to, say hi, network, grab food, and then we're gonna start our midnight prayers at 12. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate you guys. Every third Friday, we're here. Every third Friday, we're here talking relationships. We typically have a guest, but tonight we wanted to be more interactive. So please make sure you put in your calendar every third Friday. We're here. We have godly conversations on dating, sex, and marriage. God bless you guys for coming out. I really appreciate everyone that came out, and good night.